Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider. You have me, a giant cough in human form, conversing with my pal, Steven Robles, about all things smart home. How you doing, man?
Oh, a giant cough in human form.
I've been practicing muting
I don't know
when I cough.
'Tis the season.
No.
'Tis the season. So we'll try to do. We're going to work on our mute button technique during today's episode. So we'll see if the other one's talking and we don't hear each other. Unmute. That's the goal. Still, do you ever have like video calls with people and they still don't get the whole like unmute yourself when you have to talk? It's amazing. You ever get that?
It's my favorite that things like Zoom has to have like that alert. Are you trying to speak? You've muted yourself.
Exactly.
You dummy.
It's been 2+ years of all this. Well, it's about to be 2 years. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is it about to be 3 years? Because it's going to be...
No idea.
Because COVID hit March 2020. So it will be 3 years since COVID started. Oh my word. All right. I'm not going to think about that. That's crazy. I feel like COVID makes you drop years. Oh, look, Andrew did the mute button. Very good. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see all the times where there's miming of coughs, but you won't hear it because we're muting. So there you go. Very good. All right. We're going to try and make it through this. We got some fun stuff to talk about. I have a little device here that I'm going to mention. I'm just going to tease it right here in the frame. You see that? You probably have no idea what that is.
It's weird, Steven. It looks real creepy there.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. 1 5-star review shout out Kaiser Ruberschmeitz from the USA, apparently, although the name implies that maybe not from the USA originally, but love the name. Kaiser Ruberschmeitz. Thank you for that 5-star review. And let's get into a few pieces of news. We're in a little bit of a slower season in December, not a ton of releases, but our friends at Twinkly actually did release a new product, which is a pre-lit Christmas wreath. So, you want to get a wreath, you want to get one that's pre-lit, and get one that actually works with HomeKit. Twinkly has you covered. You can get it. We'll put a link in the show notes to it. You can actually get it on Amazon here in the US, the UK. It is $75, which is actually on sale. It's usually $100, but it is $75. You can get a 2-pack for $160. And it will be delivered in time before Christmas. So if you'd still like to get it, you can do it. I thought about getting some Twinkly stuff because I remember we talked about it last year. And Twinkly has all kinds of lights. A little on the expensive side if you want to get like full on light stuff. Which ones
also
do you have?
Also cheaper than like the Hue ones at the same time.
Sure. That is true.
I just have the regular Twinkly light strips, like not light strips, like the just regular like string lights that everybody uses. Okay. And they're really cool. And one of the things that I liked about them compared to the Hue is they've got this really sweet like 3D visualizing thing in the app. So you could like wrap your tree or wrap your bushes with them, and you open the camera and you like scan it, and the lights will flash in a pattern and get recognized in the app, and will create a 3D model of where your lights are, and then you can create animations based on that, like moving top to bottom, like a snowfall. Like if you wrap your Christmas tree, it could be like falling snow from the top, or like fire coming up from the bottom, like whatever you want to do. All that stuff is possible. But it's really cool that they have that 3D visualizer to go with it. I mean, it just worked really well. Like I scanned the bushes and all of a sudden it just showed just where the lights are in 3D space. I'm like, how did it do that? Like it was really neat looking.
That is pretty cool. And I'm also looking, apparently they do sell them at Best Buy. So you can get them at some local stores, because I was thinking, if I do want to get one of these and actually enjoy it for the next couple of weeks before the holidays, you can still do it. You can get some in person at a Best Buy. I'll look into that. I might try it because they look really cool. Also, this is pronunciation corner now. I'm going to do my best. I know I'm going to get it wrong, but Plejd.
I'll make sure to make fun of you.
Plejd. I don't know if that's right at all. Anyway, it's a Swedish smart home system. And, we have listeners all over the world. I think we actually do have several listeners from Sweden that have written in over the years. But this is a popular smart home ecosystem. The Plejd gains, but it gains HomeKit support. And so if you have any of those devices from PLEJD, however you pronounce that, or you want to use some of those devices, well, their hub now has HomeKit support built in, and you can use those devices in your HomeKit home. So for our Swedish listeners, pronunciation is struggling today, not to see being sick and tongue-tied. But very cool. Put a link to that article as well in show notes. Now, you snuck in something here right as we began recording. Ikea plus Sonos. Oh, boy. So what do we got here? What's something new?
Okay. Settle down. Don't worry, little HomeKit. I'll feed you.
Okay.
I love the IKEA and Sonos collab stuff. They're so cool, unique, and they're awesome. So we had first two speakers that came out. There was the table lamp that had a glass shade on top, and it had like it looked like a HomePod on the bottom, full-size HomePod, and AirPlay 2 support, all the fun Sonos stuff. It was great. You just put it on your table. You have a lamp, but you also have a speaker at the same time. Downside here was that it didn't include like a smart bulb, and they recommend not using a smart bulb because it was inside the glass shade. But there was that one. The second one was like the bookshelf speaker, which also super brilliant. This thing could just sit on a bookshelf. It was like, like a large book, like one that a door-to-door salesman would sell you, like an encyclopedia or something. And then there was also an optional wall mount, so you could put it on its side, mount it to the wall, and you had this awesome little shelf. We used this for years at our old townhome. It was a perfect little wall shelf. It had even like a little silicone mat you could put on top to make it into an actual table stand thing. Fantastic. Cool. Well, then one of the most recent ones is the guy right here behind me, which is their like picture frame one, mounts to the wall. You can get different colors of these screens, and there's actually custom ones you can get printed with like posters and artwork and stuff. Awesome. Well, we got the latest one from Sonos and IKEA, launching in January, I believe, being announced now, launching in January. I just sent you a pic, but it is a new lamp. They call it a table lamp, but it's actually a floor lamp. So full-size floor lamp, has a bamboo top that's kind of like, brownish color, gives a good warm glow to it. And then still kind of like a HomePod type body, but it's being held up in the air by 3 legs and a round base down below. I think this looks really good, Steven. It's kind of modern, not too crazy. And I think that the top being like open bamboo like that, it should allow you to use like a smart bulb in there if it doesn't already. But I think these are wicked cool. Plus, Steve, I'm sending you a second picture just for funsies. But you could use these because they're Sonos speakers, so you can use them with any of your sound bars that you got. So you got Sonos soundbar. You can use these as this picture I'm sending Steven. Rear speakers. Put 2 of these behind your couch, and you have elevated rear surround speakers for your sound bar.
Whoa!
How sweet is that?
You just blew my mind. Wow!
I know. I love it. I think that is fantastic. I don't think I have any pricing information yet, but yeah. There's also different symphonic lampshades that you can use, so you can pair it with different lampshades that are available. Rear speakers for home theater setup. It looks great. Oh wait, I do have a full press release in here somewhere. Nope.
Now, can I actually put this picture as the chapter art, or are these like embargoed images? I mean, what?
Okay, if it was embargoed, I probably shouldn't be talking about it right now.
No, fair enough. Fair. I didn't know. I didn't know if the image was going to be like.
Absolutely, put them as the chapter art. If you want to pull it up on the screen for our viewers right now, that's possible too. But these will be launching in January. Super cool. I'm very excited to try. I'm going to have to pick up at least one of these things. This is really neat. I would love one of these in the studio.
There you go. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to look at your chapter art, there it is. That is the lamp with the shade. Man, using it as a rear speaker, that's a pretty ingenious idea. Looks cool, though.
I know, because it's got the stand built in versus like the regular like Sonos One or a One SL. There's no stand for it, so you have to put it on a table or something. I love that they just always combine the products of a full floor lamp with a rear speaker. I just think that's really useful.
Very cool. All right. Well, very cool. January coming soon. And I'm also going to put a link in the show notes. Sonos has a whole page talking about their collaborations with IKEA. And you can see kind of the different Symfonisk is the name. Symfonisk, all the different Wi-Fi speakers you can get. Good job muting there, Andrew. I saw that. Just calling that out for our podcast listeners. Yeah, very cool. All right, let's real quick. We have some follow-up on the Eufy controversy, which the whole stuff going to the cloud, even though stuff is supposed to be super local. And so we're going to talk about that and some other new products and talk about this thing. I'm going to tease it again, this glowing white fuzzy thing that you'll see. It's not really fuzzy, but it was just blurry. But anyway, I want to thank one of our sponsors today, which is Collide. You know, it's the holiday season as we record, and they actually have a free gift for you. We'll get to that in a second. But listen, Collide, the challenge with endpoint security has always been that it's difficult to scale, and when remote work took over, that challenge got exponentially harder. You need visibility into your fleet of devices in order for security goals to meet them and reduce service desk tickets. But how do you get that visibility when different parts of your company run on Mac, Windows, and Linux, all these different OSs? You get Collide. Collide is an endpoint security solution that gives IT teams a single dashboard for all devices, regardless of their operating system. And Collide gives you real-time access to your fleet's data and can do things that traditional mobile device managers can't. And instead of installing intrusive agents or locking down devices, which is super frustrating, Collide takes a user-focused approach that communicates security recommendations to your employees directly on Slack. Like when Andrew saves his login passwords on his desktop in a plain text file, Collide says, "Hey, don't do that, Andrew. That's not a good place to put them." And then Andrew puts them where they're supposed to go. You know, that's how it goes. But no, that's really what Collide does. Yeah, tattoos them on his arm. That's exactly right. That's the new iCloud legacy password feature. This way your loved ones can log in no matter what. You should put the password right on your arm. But Collide will send those messages in Slack to employees. It's an incredible way to actually use your employees as your IT team. And Collide can answer every question you have about your fleet without intruding on your workforce. So visit collide.com/HomeKit to find out how. And if you follow that link, they'll hook you up with a goodie bag, a free goodie bag, just for activating a free trial. That's KOLIDE.com/HomeKit, collide.com/HomeKit. Our thanks to Collide for sponsoring this episode. I saw another muted cough, Andrew. Nice job. You're really killing it there.
Thanks.
It's really good. It's really good. I'll stop calling them out now. All right, so the more scandalous update now on Eufy. Listener Simon Salvin actually sent a screenshot of the app update release notes, and it said in the Eufy security app update, they added this note that said a statement, I guess in the app, there will be a statement that says, cloud services will be involved when users choose to push thumbnail messages. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but then you have another article here from The Verge. So what is the answer to this scandalous scandal of scandals?
Okay, so first the app update. Basically, they're just making things more clear, and this part I actually understand. And this is similar to what Ring was a little bit dealing with in terms of pushing like the rich notifications, Apple calls them, where you see like a thumbnail in your notification of what's going on. So they are basically needing to capture a thumbnail, which is sent to the server, which is included in the notification that appears on your phone. So this is just new messaging, says that cloud service is going to be required if you want to use those rich alerts or rich notifications with a thumbnail image. The problem, though, Stephen, is the Verge article, which still has a terrible redesign. Just mentioning that, and I still hate it. My readership of The Verge is...
I want like more white space at the top. Like the title, it's like, it's too far. It's right up against the top. Anyway, sorry. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Yeah. Yeah, they have this story stream. Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
basically said that you can actually just use VLC Player to tap into any Eufy stream.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is much more terrifying than just the thumbnail being uploaded to the server. And it gets like worse. So he basically just uses like a URL stream that's made up of things like the camera serial number and stuff, which can be found printed on the outside of a box, literally outside of the camera's box. And they're all kind of standardized, so you can just get the box almost and figure out the URL schema, put it into VLC Player, and watch a stream. And
Sheesh.
The Verge actually reached out. Yeah, he says no authentication, no encryption on this. And The Verge reached out to Eufy, and they denied it. So they actually said to The Verge, I can confirm that it is not possible to start a stream and watch live footage using a third-party player such as VLC. So that's the senior PR manager at Anker, which is Brett White. And apparently that's not true because they were actually, Sean Hollister at The Verge was able to test this and just do it. He was able to get a camera. He has like their own Eufy cameras using VLC Player across the country to put in this URL thing and pop up a live feed. So the exact thing that Eufy said was not possible, he did. So the whole thing now is, one, is ridiculous bad security, but two, that they lied about it in the first place. So now it's a whole thing. Yeah. This is much bigger. This is a problem, obviously.
Yes.
There's some extra things in there, like they actually do like encode the serial number, but it's in like base64, which is really easy just to reverse because like there's tools online to do that. And they do need to have things like your serial number. So if they don't have your serial number, there's no way they can do this. But if they were like, trying to get in and had your camera's box somehow, they just took it out of the trash, they'd be able to tap into this feed. Now
they would tap.
ridiculous.
They have to be on the same network though, right? Like in order to tap into the feed.
No. Across the country, he tried it.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay. So you're saying, like, if you had a Eufy camera wherever you are, me down in Florida, I could just open a VLC Player, and if I had that serial number, which is on the box of these Eufy cameras, I could pull up your camera feed from my computer down here in Florida.
That's correct.
Wow. That's an issue?
Yeah.
That's a problem?
That is
okay.
That is a problem. That is an issue.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, any episode where we recommended Eufy cameras in the past, we'll just have to redact any of those recommendations. I would not. Yeesh.
Yeah. So if you do use one of these, two things. Stick with HSV, because if it's all HSV, you're fine. Two, if you have a HomeKit router, go ahead and lock that thing down to maybe local only, and preventing it from hitting the cloud server at all. That said, The Verge did say there's no evidence that this has been exploited in the wild. There's no one actively doing this, more or less. It's just a big old security hole. They lied about it. Yeah, it's a concern.
That is not good. Well, we'll put a link to this.
Oh, there was one
article.
other minor thing that needed to be mentioned too. Is it only worked when the cameras were awake? So if the cameras were idle for any reason, they could not be streamed. So if they were not detecting motion or anything like that and not actively awake, they would not stream. So minor clarification.
Yeah, not enough. not enough of a safeguard, in my opinion. Wow. Okay, we can read about that craziness at the links in the show notes. But my goodness, HSV FTW for the win. If you didn't know what that acronym meant, that's the internet lingo. FTW for the win. All right, now moving on from Eufy, you have some Hunter Douglas. Are these new Hunter Douglas products that I am seeing here?
So these are new, just window covering options. So just new covers here from Hunter Douglas, or new material choices. There's the Silhouette Halo Shadings. So privacy and controlled soft radiance through a room. builds in the flagship silhouette style, familiar, innovative S-shaped fabric, flexible movement, natural light, so different colors there. There's also the Luminette privacy shears, so light diffusing for a soft glow. Vertical panels fully integrated with vertical vanes to provide UV protection, comfort, and privacy, suitable for sliding doors or large panes of glass. So just 2 new covering options from Hunter Douglas. If you're already entrenched in the Hunter Douglas ecosystem, had some extra window coverings or openings that you wanted to cover, you have 2 new options to consider. We've talked about Hunter Douglas before. They're fantastic. Many of them work with HomeKit. So a couple new options for fabrics.
Very cool. I'll put a link in the show notes to that. New Hunter Douglas. They look very nice. Very nice. And okay, let's thank our second sponsor, then I'll talk about this thing that I've been teasing off camera just for a second. But you know our next sponsor. We know and love them. It is Nebia. Nebia makes the incredible Nebia by Moen Spa shower, the Nebia Quattro shower head. I actually just reinstalled the Quattro shower head because as we moved into the new house, I had the Nebia by Moen Spa shower set up, but one of my sons specifically requested the Quattro because he really likes the different settings. You have 4 different like stream settings on the Quattro shower head. And so here's the deal. If you've never heard of Nebia before, which, I mean, if you listen to this podcast at least once before, you've probably heard of Nebia because we love them. But they make shower heads and a bunch of other bathroom products. But the shower heads save up to 45% water while giving you a better shower experience like a spa. It atomizes the water, and it just feels incredible. The Nebia by Moen Spa shower is height adjustable. It comes in 4 colors, like the brushed nickel. That's the one that we have. And then also the Quattro is another shower head, but it's really cool because it magnetically attaches, and then you can just like pull it off and use it as a, you know, the wand thing. I'm waving my hand if you're watching it on YouTube. And then you put it back up. It's got 4 different stream settings. It's wonderful. Easy to install. The Quattro especially, you really just unscrew your old shower head, screw the Quattro on. The Nebia by Moen Spa shower takes about 15 minutes. Super easy. I had never switched one out before, and it was a piece of cake. And they also have a ton of other bathroom products. I know Andrew got one of these, and I love mine, is the Quick Dry Earth Mat, where it sucks the water right out of your feet, not out of it. Every time I say that, it sounds scary, but it doesn't do that. It just, I don't know, how do you the diatomaceous earth. That's what Andrew looked up that one time. Yeah, that thing.
The same stuff that you put into like your pool to help pull things out of the water. Same thing here. Yes. They're using that earth. It's incredibly absorbent and just literally suctions out all the water.
That's right. It's really cool. And it dries super quick. Like you step on it, it's wet. You step off of it, you look back, it's totally dry. Almost that quick. Not exactly instant, but pretty quick. But anyway, all of their Nebia stuff. They also make shower hooks and bath mats. I have one of the Nebia towels. They're wonderful. So check out everything that Nebia has to offer. The Nebia by Moen Spa shower starts at just $199, and HomeKit Insider listeners, we have a deal, of course, Nebia.com/HomeKit, and use the promo code HomeKit at checkout to get 10% off all Nebia products. I muted myself, Andrew. I muted myself while I was coughing. And listen, it's the holiday season. It's a great time.
Out so no one misses it.
Sorry, I missed the mute button. So go to Nebia.com/HomeKit. That's Nebia.com/HomeKit. Check out what they have to offer and save 10% on everything with promo code HomeKit. HomeKit, here we go. Let me try again. Got it.
You look like you dabbed. I'm pretty sure you just dabbed.
That's exactly what it looked like. All right, so I actually got a new HomeKit product I want to talk about. This is something I had gotten because we talked about this a long time ago, but I got the BusyBox recorder symbol that you can like hang on a wall, and it's not HomeKit, but in Siri shortcuts, you can program the BusyBox to turn on or off, and it would say recording. Really cool idea. I got it so I can mount it outside the studio, and it would light up whenever I was recording. I really like a lot of things about it, except the battery lasts like 3 days. Not even when it's on, just like standby, the battery lasts like 3 days. And because my door is kind of tall, I need a stepladder to get the BusyBox off and find a charger. And so it's basically just now sitting outside my door, not doing anything. Like I don't want to take it down to recharge it every couple days. It's not worth it. So I wanted to find a solution where I could plug something in that could show a red light, and my family would know when I'm recording here in the studio because it's right outside the family room here. And so I looked up HomeKit like lamps and lights. I thought about getting another Hue Bloom, which I actually have a Hue Bloom down there. I think that's the Bloom. It's like on that shelf right there. And but those are not inexpensive. It's like $60 or $70. And so I wanted to get something a little less expensive. And so I got the Meross. This is a Meross HomeKit lamp that changes colors. It was $30 and really nice. It dims, changes colors. It is HomeKit directly. You don't need any kind of hub. And it actually has USB-C as the plug in the back, which is great. But, you know, they give you the charger and everything in the cable. But this is the Meross, I guess you call it a lamp. It's like a LED like table lamp kind of thing. They have several different models. I'll put the link to the one that I got. You can actually physically control it. It does have the button on top. It's a capacitive button, so you can tap it and you can like swipe around to dim it and change the colors manually if you'd like. But I really like this thing. And so what I did, there's a bookshelf near the studio door in the family room. Put this thing on the bookshelf, plug it in, and I added it to all of my HomeKit scenes that I trigger for here inside the studio. And so like I have something called Video Purple. And when I say that magic words to Siri, all my studio lighting changes. My Eve motion blinds close, and that blacks out the light. The Hue lights behind me turn purple, so I got that nice background. My filming light turns on, and now this thing turns on and turns red right outside the studio door. And so this way my family knows I'm recording, and it can also be used just as like a lamp, you know, in the room or whatever. And because it's HomeKit, you know, my kids can access it from their home, whatever. But I thought it was really cool, inexpensive. I thought about talking about some Christmas gift ideas at the end of the show, but I think this is a great idea. This is like a little amp, $30, no hub required. You know, if you already have a HomeKit home, if you have a HomePod Mini or Apple TV, you're good to go. And this could be a great kind of like first step into the HomeKit area, or if you just would like one, it's really cool. So there it is, the Meross little HomeKit lamp. It's a cute little thing. There it is. Nice. Yeah, it was fun.
You know what would be really nice that's very similar? An updated Eve flare.
That is supposedly coming, though. They announced that they're coming. It's just taking forever. Yeah. It's just taking forever.
I know. I still just really like that light, and I feel like I would just put so many more of them around. They're so cool.
I love it too.
They're not even available right now. You can't even do that.
Right here. I got one right over my shoulder, right here. It's glowing purple. I don't know what the deal is, but so this thing was $30. It's called the Meross Smart Wi-Fi Table Lamp, LED bedside lamp support, and then the title. They got to do that Amazon SEO thing, but I'll put a link to this one. Right. They also have like several other Meross ones that are like slightly larger. There's one for like $40 that looks slightly larger. I'm not sure what all the difference is, but they're all HomeKit. They're all little lamps, and yeah, they're cool. They're pretty cool. So that is my review of that. Pretty cool. Now, what do you put a note here? It said personal Growhouse. It's not a drug thing, right? This is not a
I guess situation. You could use it for drugs. I don't think that's what it was designed for, but it doesn't list those on the box.
All right.
So I actually got this by accident because I had ordered something else, and they shipped this instead. And they were like, yeah, just keep it. It's cool. Which I was like very happy with because I had known about this and I really wanted one, but I didn't want to spend the money on one. So now I have it and I didn't spend the money on it. But this is from a company called Modern Sprout. They have a ton of plants and gardening things and gardening tools. And I've given some of their stuff as gifts before. Like they've got little gifting pots with like lavender, all sorts of stuff. They're sweet. Check those stuff out. But this is, they just call it their Growhouse.
Oh, okay.
And that's what it looks like. I believe this is the black one. And it is a app connected planter, interior planter with an integrated grow light. And it does have a corresponding app to tie with it, and you can use it to grow all sorts of things. But what I like about it a lot is that, so you could use it for things like herbs in your kitchen, which is really useful, but especially because you're using the app and you can customize everything, you can do other stuff with it. Like you could do like like it doesn't use pods, like something like an Arrow Garden would use. So you can just plant anything you want in here. So they even talk about using it for like cactuses or succulents, anything that you just want to grow inside. And it looks really cool. I like them a lot. I don't know if there's a better link than what I'm sending you, Steven, but
yeah,
that's just the listing from their website.
Modernsprout.com, and yeah, it'll be in the show notes. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play around with this, but it's got I don't know what any of these numbers mean for lights, but full spectrum LEDs, 4000K natural white light, 1480 lumens output, super low power, eco-friendly. Yeah, all seems pretty easy. There's a brass version as well that looks pretty nice.
Yeah,
but I like the matte black one. So I'm going to try this out and let you know.
Very cool. What are you going to grow in there? Do you know?
Well, clearly all the drugs.
Okay. Well, I'll just get an explicit tag in this episode for Apple Podcasts. They said drugs.
Honestly, I'm not sure yet. I was really debating on what to try out in here because I think succulents are just an easy one, and I always kill them. Not because of watering, but because like light in the studio can be so inconsistent. So something like that is nice because they don't like overwhelm it. I've tried a lot of indoor planters and like especially like something like basil. Like, oh cool, I'm going to plant herbs inside. Basil goes crazy. Same thing with a lot of other herbs that you may have. They grow so well in those conditions and they just go nuts. And by having something a little bit more contained that isn't going to grow as rapidly, it might be nice. So I might try it with some succulents and stuff in there to see how that works. The cactuses would be a good thing as well. But something that I can leave down here in the studio, just to add some greenery, because obviously it gets just kind of dry down here, not a lot of light a lot of times when I'm shooting, and everything else is kind of off. So I'll play around with it. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in there yet.
That's cool. All right, very good. That is the Modern Sprout Growhouse. Link in the show notes to that. And now you also had a cool video on MagSafe chargers, a lot of the 3-in-1s, which I am all about the 3-in-1 MagSafe chargers. I have the Belkin 3-in-1. I think it's the Boost Charge Pro Plus Ultra Max or something like that. But I love that thing. And so we'll put a link to that video in the show notes as well. Well, what's your MagSafe charger of choice, like for your bedside?
Yeah, so I walked through them in this video, and I try to rank them from like my most favorite to my least favorite. And there's so many good ones out there. So I wanted to kind of try to hit on ones that were unique for people. I've been using most often by my bedside, I've been sticking with the OtterBox, but it's like a 2-in-1. I just really like the compact feel of it. And it does have a fast charger and official MagSafe. But they also recently just came out with a 3-in-1, this guy here, which I went on a little bit of a Twitter rant about because they would not say the words like fast charge for this. And they would say things like, oh, it delivers this much power. And Apple defines fast charging as this much power. I'm like, okay, so you're saying it fast charges. But I could not get like them to say those words. So I don't know if it's like something in Apple's MFI agreement for whatever reason. But supposedly this is a fast charger. The website says 5 watts. They even told me it's 7.5 watts for this when they reached out to me after my tweet to kind of confirm things. But this is a 3-in-1 version from OtterBox, USB-C on the back. This 12 South one I mentioned because this is kind of cool. If you've seen this one before. So this is like the HiRise 3. And it's unlike 12 South here, Steven, because it's a 3-in-1 charger, but none of it is Apple certified, which is normally a big no for me. But they came up with this really specific use case, and this solves it. So design I really like. It's like white with contrasting like light gray. Feels like an Apple Store piece of hardware. The puck on the top, it's like just a smooth integration there, which you're not going to get with an actual Apple Watch puck because you can't cover it like that. So it looks really nice there. And the biggest feature is this large flat surface in the front. So imagine this, Steven. It's the AM. Your alarm is going off, and you're like, no. And you're going to hit snooze. Where is the snooze button on your phone, Steven? It's right here at the bottom. It's right here. You're going to hit it, and your phone it comes off. It's so easy just to knock your phone off. Well, say no more. because you can use the HiRise 3, which has a massive flat surface. You can hit this all you want. It's not going nowhere. It holds your phone so steady. And I like that. Like it's a really neat use case. So it is a little bit slower because it's not MagSafe, so it's not going to be 15 watts of power. But I just dropped it right on there.
There it is.
I'm holding this I'm holding it like at an angle while tapping it. Yeah.
You're jamming.
So this is really cool. That's a really neat one that I found. Another one that I highlight in the video really quick is the 4-in-1 from Hyper. Again, USB-C, but there's very few 4-in-1s that are out there, and it folds flat, so you can just take this sucker with you, just throw it in your bag. This is really useful for me because I have so many devices that I'm usually shooting with, and it's nice to be able to charge like multiple at once. And the MagSafe puck is adjustable. It rotates almost completely flat to down. So very handy there for the MagSafe puck. Downside is it's not fast charging for the Apple Watch. That's the only kind of minor downside with that guy. A couple other minor ones. Zenz has a new one out. Adjustable MagSafe on the front, AirPods in the front. The Apple Watch puck, not fast charging, but it's removable. So you can take this out, plug it into any USB-C, bring it with you. You get a portable Apple Watch charger, and you could then theoretically upgrade this in the future when more of those fast charge modules are available, and then just pop it in and upgrade your whole charger to fast charging. So I thought that was a good idea. Last one, just to mention, is the one from ESR. So this is one with Cryo Boost, which is active cooling. So there's fans in here that spin up to help actively cool your phone while it's charging. So the idea is you're just going to get crazy good charging speeds because it's not going to overheat nearly as easily as a standard MagSafe charger. So I thought that was a really neat idea for this. I'm ripping open the bottom of this because I wanted to check. You can use your own Apple Watch puck, so it doesn't include an Apple Watch puck. It just connects right there at the bottom. And it does. See, people were telling me it was just USB-A. It's USB-C or USB-A under there. So you attach your Apple Watch puck. You can use the new USB-C ones, and they snap in and do that. So you got Apple Watch charging, AirPods at the bottom, and your Cryo Boost MagSafe puck there. Those are pretty much it. We talked about the Belkin ones. They're also fantastic. The new models have the fast charge, as well as MagSafe 3-in-1, and there's also a 2-in-1 option without the Apple Watch. But some new MagSafe chargers to kind of play around with, to consider. They're great gifts, Steven. If you know someone who needs a Christmas gift, those are good ones. Do you have any other ideas for Christmas gifts, Steven?
Yes, well, I thought it would be good to talk about some Christmas gifts, especially in the HomeKit realm. MagSafe stuff is always fun. You know, if someone has an iPhone 12 or newer, I love MagSafe stuff. And so make sure they have a MagSafe case. I was actually talking to someone the other day, and they didn't have a MagSafe specific case and tried to do MagSafe charging, and obviously it would not work as well, if at all. So get them a MagSafe case. First of all, you could do that. But also, when it comes to HomeKit gifts, I was thinking, you know, if you're going to buy, you're trying to get somebody into the HomeKit space. They're not current smart home users or not typically like super tech savvy. I was trying to think, what are the criteria that would really help someone get in the ecosystem and with the least amount of friction? And so I would recommend no hub type products. I feel like once you introduce a hub, it gets a little complicated. My only caveat there is if you think they're going to get all into it and you want to get them like a Philips Hue hub and some light bulbs, maybe. But I would really recommend like going no hub products, no hub stuff. And then if you look at no hub HomeKit products, first of all, they need to have a home hub. If they don't have an Apple TV or HomePod Mini already, get them a HomePod Mini. You can get them an Apple TV, but I feel like, you know, depending on the cost and whether or not they already have a streaming stick, like people are usually set in their ways about how they stream stuff. And I feel like a HomePod Mini is an easier foray into the HomeKit world. And then you can say, you know, if they already have an iPhone, they probably ask, you know who, different things like the weather. Just get them a HomePod Mini. I wish there was an updated one for this holiday season, but there is not. It's still the old the old HomePod Mini. But it still has Thread. And so you have Thread connectivity, you have a home hub. So get them a HomePod Mini. There's some good sales going on right now. You can get them for like $70 in some places. After a HomePod Mini, if they already have that or they already have an Apple TV, I do think this little Meross lamp is really cool. and is, again, $30, which is not bad. This is great for like a nightstand or maybe even in the living room, just have a little lamp. I would also recommend trying smart home plugs. When it comes to plugs, I have found, because I have the Wemo ones, I have the Eve ones, I have Meross ones, and I have another brand. I have them all. And the Eve one, the Eve Energy with thread has been the most solid, even after several power outages and like reconnecting because of that thread connectivity. And that is the other caveat I would say when buying HomeKit products for someone else, making sure it is reliable and steady, and they're not going to have to like mess with it in the future or reset it, or you're going to have to walk them through a factory reset of their smart plug. Not a great experience. So I would try to get thread devices when possible. And so I think the Eve Energy with thread, it is a smart plug, and they can put it on a lamp. That's actually the first step I got my mom into. I had got a Eve Energy smart plug, plugged the lamp that they have in their living room into the smart plug, got them a HomePod mini, and it's very easy to say, listen, just tell it to turn on the lamp. And boom, it turns on. Tell them to turn it off, it turns off. A very simple and effective way to start getting into it. So smart plug, especially with thread, HomePod mini. I like the Meross lamp. If you want to get something maybe a little more advanced, maybe for someone, again, no hub, but I think that is one of the biggest like quality of life improvements with a HomeKit device is a thermostat. And so I saw that the ecobee, even like the really nice one that's out right now, it's like the premium, I think, or the whatever. Yeah, I think it's premium. It has like the metal band around it. That's been on sale down to like $220, $230 in some places. So an ecobee thermostat, that is going to take some installation, and maybe part of the gift is like, asking someone to come install it for them, or you yourself installing it for them. But once that's installed, like I have never had an ecobee thermostat need to be reset or get disconnected. And so, if you can take the time and install that smart thermostat for them, even if they don't have a home hub, they can use the ecobee app, just connected to their Wi-Fi. But I think the thermostat is a great place to start as well. Again, a little more an expensive HomeKit gift for somebody, but quality of life, like if they realize they can change the temperature from their phone or from Siri, like I think a lot of people would like that. So I'll think of one or two other more. But did you have anything that you've given away or that you might recommend as a HomeKit gift for people?
Yeah, so the first thing that I try to do is avoid anything that requires an installation unless, like you said, Steven, you are going to do it. And don't just like promise you're going to do it, actually do it. I actually know one of my very good friends was gifted a smart home device that required an installation, like super basic installation. He's had it like 3 years and hasn't installed it yet because he has to get around to doing it.
Yeah.
So don't give something that needs an installation. And the one caveat that I will say to that is I think that it's the most popular smart home category, which is a doorbell. I think smart video doorbells are incredibly popular, super easy to install because there's 2 wires and they can go literally at either of the connection points. So they're just so easy to do. If you're like, even somewhat handy, you can do it without even having to disconnect the power. Like as long as you're not like letting things touch, like you don't even have to kill the power to it. Don't do that. That's against the rules. You have to follow the directions. But if you were going to, you could. So I think that's a really nice a gift to give somebody. The other thing I would recommend is Apple TVs. And this ties into a little bit of news that we didn't cover, Steven, that is like tangentially smart home related. And that is the new Apple Music Sing feature, which is coming, aside from to iPhone and iPad, exclusively to the new Apple TV 4Ks. So if you haven't seen the news somehow, Apple is basically introducing karaoke mode for Apple Music. And it's going to animate the text along with the vocals as it's being sung, like a karaoke machine would. But you'll also be able to do things like lower the volume of those lead vocals so you can jam out without being overpowered by,
Taylor Swift
Freddie
or
Mercury
whoever.
Or something. Like, you can just take over those lead vocals and sing them so much better. But like, I love that you can actually adjust the level of that volume, like all the way down or like only halfway, whatever. There's duet mode for, especially on Apple TV. It has got to be so cool to be able to sing a duet, and it'll have both text on either side animating.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not quite sure why this is limited to the new Apple TV, Steven, but it is. And I think Apple TV is just a great option because it's such a good streaming device. But I think it's one of the ones that's like just slightly expensive, so not everybody buys it for themselves. Like I've seen a lot of people like, oh, I could just get a Roku for way cheaper. Right. Apple TV is nicer. So if you're going to gift it to them, I think it's a great gift because it's something just outside of probably a normal price range for people buying a streaming device for a lot of people out there. So doorbells,
that's good.
Apple TV would be high on my list. I think light strips, like you said, are really nice because you can easily install them so many places. I don't like smart plugs, mainly because they're so cheap and populous. It seems like everybody has them if they want them, and especially on like the Amazon side, they sell for like $5. So I think those can be too cheap or common to gift, but maybe that's just me. Like you said, lights I think are a good one. A lot of other things, like the fan controllers are fantastic. I think a lot of people love the fan controllers, but it requires a degree of installation. So you don't necessarily want to do that for a gift. Some doorbells, by the way, like I think it's either the Logitech or the Wemo, there's actually an option to pay when you buy it that includes installation, and they'll come and do the installation for you for an extra like $100. So if you're concerned about it, that would be a good choice. So they're completely worry-free, and they just get it done.
There you go. That's pretty good. Yeah, a light strip, I think, is a great option. Again, the Eve one, no hub. You can get a thread. That's pretty cool. Like Andrew was saying, no installation. Don't get them a light switch because then you're going to have to turn off the power. You're going to have to – don't do that. Don't do a light switch. And the last one that I'll recommend, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but a garage door opener, like the Meross one that integrates with whatever dumb garage engine you already have, is really cool. And that's, again, one of the things when we talked about like showing people a smart home, one of the things they get really surprised by or impressed by the most is a garage door opener. And again, the Meross one does not require a hub, just connects to Wi-Fi. And, being able to tell Siri to open and close your garage is pretty cool. They might like that. So that's a ton of ideas, including the MagSafe stuff. We'll put links to all of that in the show notes. Enjoy it there. And let us know what other ideas you might have, because our next episode, it'll be like last minute gift time. So it'll be like, what can you get? Because it'll be you're listening to this on the 12th. Next episode is the 19th, the last one before Christmas Day. And so if you have any last minute gift ideas, let us know. A gift to us, you could give us a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. That would be your gift to the HomeKit the HomeKiteers, the HomeKit Insider crew. And then, tweet at Andrew and myself what you got going on over the holidays. If you're buying yourself some HomeKit Christmas gifts, let us know. You can tweet at us. Our Twitter handles are in the show notes. And it's been fun. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.